Our number 3 made good time on his return trip to Knapford. Upon crossing the viaduct, he spotted a certain pair of Scottish twins whose faces were as long as the train behind them. I'm sorry to say this would be one of those occasions where the trio were not civil towards each other.
Evening there, lads. Having a spot of bother, are we?
It's none of your concern, Henry. Aye, you just toddle off.
You sure you don't need a helping buffer? Maybe a wee push to get you started? Sure looks like you could use it.
No, thank you.
All right. If you should change your minds, I'll be back at Knapford asleep in my shed.
Night, lads.
Oh, I'd like to give him what for.
He's not worth the trouble, Johnny.
I'm not so sure about that, Dougie.
Ach, he'll get his. Remember what Mr. Zorro said about our new arrival? Oh, aye. That's this week, isn't it? I believe so. Let's see how high and mighty Henry is when he arrives. A few days later, something very peculiar happened at Lower Knapford, where Thomas and Toby were sleeping after a hard night at Elsbridge Harbour. I'm sure they were enjoying their rest when suddenly... What was that? I don't know, but wait! Over there! I didn't see the engine, did you? No, and I didn't recognise the whistle. I'll tell you what, judging from the sound, there must have been close to 30 trucks on that train. Even Henry would be hard-pressed to pull that many. I hate to say it, but maybe the middies got themselves a new addition. Why the middies? Why not us? Because if we were the ones to get a new recruit, Mr. Starr would have surely said something. I hate when you're right, Toby. And right, Toby was. Not long after, we discovered the engine was indeed the middies' new heavy goods engine, a Stania 8F named Peter. To be frank, this was a day we should have seen coming. Ever since 1935, the LMS had been churning out 8Fs from its workshop at Crewe to serve as its primary heavy goods engine, so it was only a matter of time before one ended up on Sodor. And my word, did he make an impact on the island's goods industry. Because of his robust design, he was able to pull trains of immense scale, often single-handed. Needless to say, Henry was none too thrilled and worked himself hard to meet this new competition. Unfortunately, Peter's efforts turned the goods industry in the middies' favour, and we began losing contracts to them. To make matters worse, as I would discover, Peter was a very pleasant chap. That day started off like any other. I woke up fresh as a daisy, ready to take out the first commuter service. After being cold and watered, I picked up my train and off I went. All was going well as I carried down the main line until I reached Lower Knapford, where I started feeling sick. I would later find out I had taken on some bad water that was slowly clogging my pipes. It was a struggle for me to reach the next few stations, and as I approached Wellsworth, I dreaded what lay beyond. Gordon's Hill, as the Preston Incline had been renamed following our number 4's breakdown upon it. Just as a side note, he wasn't too happy when he heard about this, unlike the rest of us. But as I approached the incline, in the condition that I was in, I sometimes wonder if it might have been dubbed Edward's Hill if I had tried to climb it. Thankfully, I would be spared such humiliation. Okay, Edward, you've struggled long enough, but I think it's time to call it quits. No, Harry, I'm fine. Just give me a moment to catch my breath. You've been hard at it since Elsbridge, Edward. Don't think I haven't noticed. Well, it's not like we have a lot of options now, do we? Wrong. We can have someone else take this train. No, we can't. We can't afford any delays. Not when our reputation is as brittle as it is. And if you should clonk out on the hill, what will that do to our reputation? Face it, Edward, you won't be going anywhere else today. Bother! Pardon me, is something wrong? Edward, isn't it? Yes, that's it. Don't mind me, I'm just a little flustered. You look beyond flustered, Edward. Oh, he is. He's ill and he's stubborn. A dangerous mix. I have to get this train to Crovan's Gate. Skarloey will be waiting. Crovan's Gate? I've got to pass through there on my way to Barrow. How about I pull you along? Pull me along? As well as your train and mine? You can't be that strong, surely. I'll do it solo if I have to. But do you think you can muster any steam? Certainly. I have plenty. Brill. You give what you've got. Together, we should make it over the hill, no worries. Well, all right, I'm willing to give it a go. Great. I'll get into position and we'll get rolling. Huh, what a nice chap. I'll admit, I was sceptical about how well this would work, as I really didn't think Peter would be strong enough to pull such a massive train. But I didn't really have a choice. You ready back there? Ready? Without delay, Peter surged forward, and I took off after him with all the resistance of an empty truck. All I could do was trail behind him, utterly gobsmacked by his strength. Hey, what's he doing? Here it comes! Give me all you got! Right! You see? Nothing to it! Well done, old boy! Will you be alright from here, Edward? Absolutely fine, Peter. Thank you very much. No worries. Take care. Well, good morning, Scarloey. Good morning, Edward. What was that about? Why was Peter pulling you? Oh, I wasn't feeling too well, so he helped me get over Gordon's Hill, and then some. That was very generous of him. Too right. I tell you what, my opinion of the middies is at an all-time high thanks to him. Good to hear. With so many of you sharing the same tracks, it's about time you learned to get along. Truer words were never spoken. Morning, Diesel. Ah, Peter, there you are. Where were you last night? Barrow. The lift bridge malfunctioned, so I had to spend the night on the mainland. Oh, that's a relief. I thought maybe you'd gone over to the nor'easters. Why would I do that? Colin told me he saw you helping Edward. Are you off your nut? What's wrong with that? Peter, maybe you don't understand how business works, but you don't get ahead by helping out the competition. Hang about. Didn't Colin once help out a nor'easter? There's a world of difference between letting an engine get blown up and leaving a museum piece like Edward to rust in place. That's your reason? I shouldn't have helped him because he's old? Brilliant logic, Diesel. Good morning, gentlemen. Oh, morning, sir. Good morning, Mrs. O. So, Peter, you helped Edward yesterday, did you? Yes, sir. Oh, you're in for it now. Not quite. Congratulations, Peter. Excuse me, sir. Congratulations, sir. Indeed. Turns out one of the passengers on Edward's train yesterday was a reporter for the Sodor Tribute, who wrote a glowing article about your run between Wellsworth and Crovan's Gate, going on at length about the selflessness at which you helped the, quote, old iron engine. This is marvellous. You can't buy this kind of PR. With respect, sir, I didn't do it for the publicity. I did it because it was the right thing. Right. Of course you did. Just make sure to repeat that if any reporters come asking. Keep up the good work. What were you saying, Diesel? Grrr! I don't understand why you two are so steamed up. For one, it's because we're steam engines. For another, it's because tonight is going to be a wasted effort. How do you figure? Because we're working with the nor'easters, and I'm not so sure they're guiltless. Well, I am. Their trains have gone missing just like ours. Like it or not, we need them to find out what's happening. I suppose you have a point, Peter. Although, I wish I weren't being partnered with the first victim of these thefts. I'm sure I'll get an earful of righteous indignation from Thomas when I meet up with him. Considering who I'm paired with, Lily, you've got it easy. The brake van's gone. Gone? You mean like... Oh no! Someone's coming! That someone was Peter, hauling behind him a very heavy goods train. From experience, I know how fast the Middy's number 15 can move. As he came flying around the bend, I'm sorry to say that he didn't see the obstruction in his path until it was too late. Though he braked with all his might, it wasn't enough to avoid a catastrophe. Oh no! Peter! Peter! Are you alright? Bust my buffers. He's hurt bad. His crew can't be any better. We need to call for help, and fast. Let's rush down the branch and... James! Look! What? Peter suffered extensive damage from his crash, and the repairs would take months to complete. Since Mr. Zorro could ill afford to be without a dedicated goods engine, he was forced to turn to an unlikely source. But that is a story for another day. Peter's return was warmly welcomed by the middies, who were also slightly intimidated by the train he had brought with him. Bo Lily, Yich Chin Guaya Senior and Dane Gore Godred. Poems, Winich Erich, Ye Mondor Guaya Take Gro Guayat. You know, I'm all for remembering your roots and all that, but sometimes it just comes across as rude. Sorry, Peter. You're right. Indeed, we should only use Sudrian when it's appropriate. Hello, hello. Poor Diesel. Oh, ha ha. Very funny. Ni kredaf, ein ford, yirian yay hola korea twian Sodrin, galek wind do hian lily. Nine year grow colin. Mayan gwilenia saro guru bandia so gwedia, haini goro amak. Okay. While you two are doing that, Peter, Mr. Zorro wanted me to give you a message. You're taking a heavy goods train to the fort at 3 p.m. today. Alright. But who's going to handle my job at the lumberyard then? Me and Adam have got it covered. Gwenanin Sreyware, Boden Ekchi Queren Lalingin Senior Cholna Twan Trohian. Paid funny, me fwan. How did I forget to mention Adam's been giving me and Diesel lessons in Sudrian lately? So, you mean you'd... I know I should be annoyed, but I'm not. Good job to you and to Diesel for showing us up. This is why I've always liked you, Lily. You're gracious in defeat. Douglas is certainly a lucky engine. Thank you, Peter. And I'm very lucky to have him too. Oh, Peter, thank goodness you're here. I need to talk to an engine with some sense. What do you mean, Edward? What's the matter? You know how this space was going to get its own engine? Yes. Well, he arrived today. And imagine my surprise to find he's ROD. Railway Operating Division? You mean those engines who served in the Great War? The very same. Oh, I see. I've never met one, but I've heard they can be pretty strict. That's putting it mildly. I've worked with a handful of ROD engines over the years, and they've all been the same. Rigid, obsessive, and downright annoying. And this one who's just turned up, his name's Benson, by the way, he's all that and worse. Blimey, he's so by the book, I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote it. All right, I don't like the sound of any of that. But still, don't you think we should... Attention! Attention! Never mind.
So, what do we have here? You! What are you doing parked on that line?
I'm bringing in this goods train.
Oh, I see. Is this the train that was meant to arrive at 1600 hours? That's 4 o'clock, right? Yes. Oi! There's to be no whispering amongst the ranks.
I already told you we're civilians. We're not subject to military protocol.
Silence! You did not have permission to speak, Engine.
God, Lord save me.
Lock it up. Now, as for you,
My name's Peter.
your name is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is that you, sir, are late.
What do you mean late?
What part do you find confusing, Engine? This train was supposed to arrive at 1600 hours. It is currently 1604. What do you have to say for yourself?
Are you for real? I've probably been here a good few minutes. I'd say I was on time. Maybe you should learn to count, Benson.
One more word out of you, Old Iron, and I will report you to your manager. As to this train, if it did indeed arrive on time, I apologize to you. But if it didn't, then you had better hope I never find out.
Even if I was late, it was only by a couple of minutes. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying,
And I'm just saying to you that we cannot afford even the slightest delays in these intense times. Britain's railways need to be strong and disciplined, as they were back in the Great War. Otherwise, when Jerry comes our way, we risk being overrun and destroyed. I don't fancy seeing Herr Hitler take up residence in Buckingham Palace. Do you?
no.
That's no sir to you, Engine. Do I make myself clear?
No, sir.
All right. I warned you. Your manager will hear about this.
Christ almighty, Peter. Are you alright? Yeah. I almost got blown up out there, but otherwise... Oh no. What? Those gunpowder vans I bought in earlier. They're just over there. What? What are they doing there? It was the only sighting available. What happens if a bomb hits them? You can kiss your bunker goodbye. That's what. We gotta move them. If you do want to kiss your bunker goodbye, Thomas, then head on out there. I'll get them. Don't be stupid, Colin. I know that's a hard thing for you to do, but... Diesel, shut the hell up. I'm going to move those vans, and you can't stop me. It's a very brave thing you're doing, Colin. I just hope it helps. Oh no!
I swear, when that dummy gets back, I'm gonna tear him. Colin! No!
I wish I could say Colin survived that night, that he came back to Knapford bruised yet alive. But miracles seldom happen during war. When the fire and rescue team showed up the following morning, all they found of the Middy's number 1 and his crew was blackened metal and charred bones. But if they have any chance of meeting up with us, we need to retake the town, if only temporarily. Everyone but Peter is with me. What am I to do? I want you to head back to the base and grab that gun the Americans gave us. The big one. Are we going to plan B? Yes, we are. But Edward, I know. It'll keep us from advancing, but it'll stop them from breaking through the lines. Peter, go get the gun and position yourself at grid 3F. Do not fire unless I give the order. Right, ya! Come on, engines. Let's give 'em hell! Bereit? Ziel? Feuer! Damn it! Those tossers don't give up!
What do we do, Edward? Do we hold them off?
No. They might have reinforcements close by. Let's fall back. And leave the guns! Fire in the hole! I'm sure glad that ended quickly. Me too. Fancy getting called out over something as trivial as writing a letter home. It wouldn't be the first time. Remember last month when Corporal Wallace received that letter from his Uncle Luther? Oh yeah, that got ugly real quick. I don't think I've seen Wallace since. I heard MI6 came to question him. Next day, he was gone. You don't think they locked him up, do you? Either that, or they made him an interpreter. Regrettably, I think the former outcome is more likely than the latter. Lest we forget what happened to the yardmaster at Elsbridge. What do you mean? Oh, you didn't hear about that. It happened just before we left. The police came to question him. What about? Apparently, he spent some time in Germany in the 30s. They wanted to know how much time and what he did. According to him, they very nearly asked how many times a day he went to the lavatory. What a load of rubbish! I wouldn't stand for that. I highly doubt we'd have a say in the matter, Thomas. Reason is the first casualty of paranoia. Have you ever thought about writing philosophy, Gordon? No, I haven't. Good. Why, you little... As much as I'd love to see how this'll end, I've got to run. Are you heading to the front? Yep. According to the lads, we're very near to pushing the Germans out of Africa. But they need this lot to keep it up. I'll see you blokes later. Stay safe, mate. Goodbye, Peter. Now what's going to happen here? I don't know. One of the couplings might have snapped. Bother! We were making such good time too. Come now, Peter. Don't go getting in a tizzy. We'll have a look. Jesus Christ! What the hell was that? The bridge exploded! What do you mean, exploded? I mean it's now in tiny bits! All burned up and smouldering! Crikey! We could have been on that bloody thing when it blew. We should have been. And with all this petrol... Dear God! That was lucky. Bloody oath it was.
Blimey, Peter! Talk about a close call!
You're not wrong. And considering what we found in my brake van, it's no small wonder how I avoided going up in flames. Look! What the? Is that the lucky lamp? How in fizzling fireboxes did it get here? That's a very good question, Douglas. Although we did take on a lot of equipment and supplies before leaving Sodor, maybe it got picked up along the way. That seems unlikely, Edward. And surely we would have noticed it before now. Given its record for spontaneous travel, I wouldn't be surprised if it's made the rounds across the entire theatre before now. I don't care how far or wide it's gone. I'm just grateful it found its way onto my train. And so you should, old chap.
How do you suppose the Mid-Sodor boys are getting on without it?
I'm sure they're just fine. How you holding up, Adam?
I'm getting there. I had my therapy session this morning, and my crew are over there now.
Is it helping?
Very much so. The important thing is I need to keep working. So what's this train you've brought in, Peter?
Just a transfer from the front line. Mostly empty trucks and a couple of tanks that need fixing. What's that coach doing at the rear? Oh, that. That coach is holding German POWs. Really? What's it doing here? It was accidentally attached to my train. By the time they realised this cock-up, it was practically here. It'll be going back tomorrow. Well, track 4 is clear. We'll be able to shunt this train later. Why not now? Because we got a ton of other trucks to move first.
I can handle Peter's train, Thomas, if you want to make a start on that lot.
You're going to run crewless?
No, of course not. They'll be back in about 10 minutes. We'll put this train away and be right over to assist.
Sounds like a plan. I can help out too once I refuel. That'd be great. Let's get to it. See you soon, Adam.
Right. See you soon.
I'm going to address the engines, but I shan't do it alone. Don't give me that, James. You were slow getting out of Knapford, which meant I was late getting to Barrow. The only reason I was slow, Peter, was because Donald dallied on the turntable. Sorry I'm late, Peckett. You're not too far behind, Peter. Are you all right? You sound out of puff. Just a bit knackered is all. I was late leaving Carlton, so I had to make up for lost time. That was probably my fault, Peter. You likely had to wait until I was out of Knapford before you could leave. What was the hold-up? I had to wait for Donald to pass with a fuel train. A fuel train? Are we doing the petrol deliveries now? It seems so. Blimey. The Fat Controller's got us on a tight schedule. Indeed. Or maybe it just seems that way since it's new. Perhaps we'll settle into it in time. I hope so.
I'm not so sure about that, Edward.
You don't think the next World War will start in Europe? Why not, when the last two have?
I think if another war is going to start anywhere, it'll be in Asia.
Why Asia?
Korea.
Oh, yes. Good point.
Korea? Never heard of it.
My driver says it's only a small country near China. It used to be occupied by the Japanese. Now it's divided. The North is communist, and the South isn't.
See what I'm talking about? You can't have two conflicting ideologies in the one place without it leading to war.
Well, if that proves to be the case, you can be sure I won't be volunteering to fight in it.
Me neither.
Me neither. Joey, what's going on? Official business. We are here to execute an arrest warrant. On what charge? War crimes. War crimes?
Oh no.
I'm afraid so. For violation of the Geneva Convention, for destruction of vital civilian infrastructure, for the intentional targeting and mass murder of non-combatants, you are hereby placed under arrest for crimes against humanity. We need you to uncouple at once and come with us. Peter.
What? 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 Is Joey off his nutter or something?
Aye! Peter is the last engine on Earth I'd ever accuse of a war crime. Are you sure he didn't mean to say Adam's name in place of Peter's? Well, if he did, the RIU hasn't yet realised its mistake.
Where is he now?
I don't know. They hauled him off and didn't say where they were taking him. This is absolutely ridiculous. Never mind the fact no non-faceless vehicle has ever been arrested for anything remotely resembling a war crime. There are no laws in existence that could possibly punish us for such an offence. Evidently there are now. That Geneva Convention introduced a slew of statutes governing conduct during a time of war. It wouldn't surprise me if Adam's actions are the reason why they saw fit to apply it to the likes of us too. Let's forget about the law and focus on another point. When could he have possibly done this? There was nary a moment we weren't apart from each other, in Africa or Europe. I don't see how he could have had the opportunity to commit a war crime. Thomas? Yes? You're being awfully quiet. Uncharacteristically so. And why are you so downcast? Well, you know, one of our own got pinched. It's hardly a time to be chipper. Thomas, do you know something? Thomas? I don't know about what he might have done, but maybe when? Go on. It was a few days after Lily was killed. I had to assemble a goods train that was going to be delivered to an American regiment. Peter delivered it. And he didn't come back until morning. When he got back, he was real upset. I asked him what was wrong, but he didn't want to talk about it. I just thought he was still sad about Lily. Oh, spiffing. Absolutely spiffing. That's marvellous. Don't write him off yet, Gordon. That doesn't prove anything.
There's one thing we're overlooking, lads. If there wasn't sufficient evidence of a war crime, such a charge would never have been brought against Peter in the first place.
That's very true, Henry. It's not looking good. Don't you give up on him either, Edward. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? That died with the Nuremberg trials. Well, I'll keep my faith in the judicial system and Peter. Until I hear otherwise, I will refuse to believe he committed any sort of war crime. Well, looky here. Not only is a British loco bringing this lot in, he also has a face. Oh, hello. This is a shock for me too. I wasn't expecting to see another non-faceless engine. Then we can both enjoy the novelty. I'm Porter. Peter, are you part of that unit that was raising hell for the Nazis across Africa? The Wild Nor'westers? You've heard about us? Pretty hard not to. You're famous. Mighty fine work you boys did down there. It was a pleasure doing it, but it wouldn't have happened without you American blokes. I won't say it was a pleasure getting involved, but it's certainly been a thrill tearing those boys a new hole. Yeah, there's something oddly satisfying about revenge.
Hey, you!
Me?
Yeah, we need your help. A company of Marines launched an attack on an occupied village about an hour ago. We just got word they need artillery support.
Right. What do you need me to do?
You're to head to the observation post directing the attack, and take this gun with you. Have you ever used one of these before?
Yes, sir. Lieutenant, what's the hold-up? The gun's primed and ready. Just give the word and I'll fire.
Hold up there, soldier. We lost contact with the Marines. I've sent a jeep down to...
Sir!
Report, Corporal.
We got ourselves a situation, sir. The Germans have garrisoned the town hospital. They've dug themselves in and around the building. We can't get close without getting gunned down. Worse still, we got reports there are civilians inside.
Damn it.
We'll have to establish a perimeter around the hospital and wait it out.
Perfect. We can't move any further until we've taken that town. And that position is crucial if we're to move on Berlin. Those devious mongrels taking over our hospital. They really have no shame. No, they don't. Oh, to hell with it.
Peter, what are you...
Fire in the hole!
What?
Oh, hello, Sir Topham. Good evening, Peter. How are you? Not good, sir. Not good at all. It's been a really rough day. I can't imagine. But not to worry. Britain won't let one of its own face these charges alone. What do you mean, sir? Peter, this is Mr. Hodges from the Department of Transport. He will be your defense attorney. How do you do, Peter? A pleasure to meet you. You too, sir. Wait. Mr. Hodges? Aren't you... Never mind. You're going to defend me? Indeed. I work for the legal department at the DOT. Before that, I served in the Navy as a criminal attorney. Not to boast, but I do have a very solid record. That's good, I guess. We had best get down to business. If you don't mind, Sir Topham, could you leave us alone? Of course. Best of luck, Peter. Thank you, sir. All right, let's clear something up first. I gather from your question and Sir Topham's interruption that you've heard about me. Did he tell you I was responsible for the leaks that forced him to step down as director? And what if he did? I can understand why he would think so, but I want you to know I had nothing to do with that. I don't know who was responsible. I'm telling you this because if I'm to defend you properly, we need to be able to trust each other. With that in mind, do you think you can trust me? I guess. It's not like I have much choice anyway. That's a start. Let's discuss your case. The charges are quite severe, and the prosecution has substantial evidence to prove your guilt. What am I looking at if I'm found guilty? Life in prison or execution? Bloody hell. That's only the worst case scenario, and we are far from that point. I don't want to get your hopes up, but there is a chance we might be able to get the charges against you dismissed. How? I've reviewed the Geneva Conventions at length. There are a number of technicalities we may be able to exploit to dismiss at least 2 of the charges. The one concerning the intentional targeting and mass murder of non-combatants will be the most difficult to overcome, however. Have you been told how many counts are attached to that charge? No. How many? 19. 19? The prosecution has lined up a number of survivors as witnesses. I've read their depositions. They're very damning. What if I plead guilty? Then you stand to get up to 20 years in Railgate. What do you think I should do? I think you should fight this. We have a good case, and as a soldier, you deserve to have your day in court. But it's ultimately your decision. What do you want to do? I'll fight this. I didn't survive the battlefield just to give up in a courtroom. That's the spirit. Now let's go over the evidence against you. Thankfully, Peter and his attorney had ample time to prepare their defense, as it took several weeks for all the arrangements to be made. Seeing as how this trial was to be a world first, many details had to be organized beforehand. The location for the trial was picked to be Barrow, in an unused siding next to the station. Around this site, barricades and platforms were built to accommodate the public, the attorneys, and the international panel of judges who would preside over the case. Unfortunately, none of us could attend. Even though a friend of ours was going through this hardship, we still had a railway to run. However, this trial was going to be broadcast by radio, and when it started on September 11, we tried our best to listen in at yards and stations. That was all we could do. To secure world peace and reaffirm the purpose and principles of the Charter of the United Nations, this court is duly constituted and established. The United Nations versus Peter of the United Kingdom. On the 8th of May 1945, the defendant is accused of firing an artillery round at the hospital in the township of Eisenmar, resulting in the deaths of 19 civilians. How do you plead? Not guilty. Your Honour, I stand for the defendant, Peter of the United Kingdom. Andrew Hodges of His Majesty's Department of Transport. Welcome, Mr. Hodges. This court also welcomes Mr. Gustave of the prosecution. Thank you, Your Honour. Is the prosecution ready to present its case? We are, Your Honour. I wish to make a motion. I haven't even begun. The motion is to dismiss the charges against Peter. Mr. Hodges, I appreciate your determination, but until arguments have been heard, we have nothing to adjudicate. I understand, Your Honour, but with all due respect to this distinguished court, I maintain these proceedings are quite redundant. Is opposing counsel suggesting we draw up these charges as a cruel joke? We are not. But gentlemen, one of the charges against my client is the destruction of vital civilian infrastructure, the hospital at Eisenmar. Yet one fact that has not been disputed by anyone, including the prosecution, is that said hospital was occupied by the German army. As the conventions stand, this makes it a military target, and thus prone to the pitfalls of such a designation. Does the prosecution refute this? No, Your Honour. But even if it were a military position, it was still a hospital. Such a target has long been exempt from exploitation during a time of war. Pity the Wehrmacht was not so respectful of this, or we wouldn't be here. If anything, the men who occupied the hospital should be here in place of my client. It is a rather complicated issue. While hospitals have always been free from use as military strongholds, it does not change the fact in this instance it was used in such a way. And since the prosecution does not refute this detail, the charge of destruction of vital civilian infrastructure is dismissed. In that case, Your Honour, I move to dismiss the entire case against Peter. The prosecution objects. While we concede the hospital was used illegally, civilian casualties were still incurred. The motion to dismiss is denied. We will proceed with the remaining charges. Mr. Gustave, you may present your arguments. Thank you, Your Honour. We will prove that the defendant knowingly and willingly fired on a position housing civilians. I'm sorry, Peter. It's okay, sir. You softened the blow. Maybe we now have a chance. Dr. Eichmann, you were in the hospital when it was struck by an artillery shell, correct? Yes. I was part of a small staff that remained with the patients who could not be moved. Could you tell the court what happened that day? Our soldiers told us they were taking over the entire building for defensive purposes, and that we were to evacuate. And did you? Mostly. Those patients who could not be moved were taken down to the basement. That night, the Americans attacked. There was a battle, shooting, tanks rumbling, then there was a terrible explosion, and the entire hospital collapsed. 19 people died. Were these people fighting the Allied forces? Fighting? They were completely defenseless patients, doctors, and nurses. They were risking their lives to save others. Thank you, Doctor. Were you aware, Doctor, that several days prior, German forces had been storing weapons and munitions on the grounds of your hospital? Yes, I was aware. It was common knowledge. How did that make you feel knowing such dangerous material was so close to your hospital and patients?
I was uneasy.
Did you object? Yes? It didn't do any good. And when the German soldiers occupied the hospital, set up sandbags around the perimeter, and dug gun emplacements, did you object?
Yes.
They told us they were there to protect us. By stashing munitions on hospital grounds, by garrisoning its floors with soldiers. At least they didn't blow up our hospital. But considering your army occupied it, turned it into a military target from which they could fire upon Allied forces, are you surprised it was attacked? Objection! Withdrawn. Nothing further.
I hid from the bullets under our hospital bed with my son, Oscar. He was 6. He cried. I tried to calm him down, but it was hard, as I was also afraid. I know this is difficult, madame, but can you tell us what happened when the shell struck? The ground shook. I was thrown across the room. And Oscar... What happened to your son, madame? He was crushed under falling rubble. I tried...
I'm sorry for your loss, Mrs. Fisher. I won't keep you long. Do you have a husband, ma'am?
Yes, he is a teacher.
When was the last time you saw him?
5 years ago.
What happened to your husband, Mrs. Fisher?
Relevance, Your Honour?
Goes to motivation, Your Honour. Liberating Germany from the stranglehold of the Nazis is what the Allied invasion was all about.
All right, Mr. Hodges, but make it brief.
What happened to your husband, ma'am?
SS officers arrived at his school and took him away.
Why?
They said he was being arrested for subversive activity, that he was a Jewish conspirator.
Was that true?
No. He said in passing that he felt the treatment of Jewish people was unfair and harsh.
Was he given a trial? A forum to explain his position?
No.
And you haven't seen your husband since, have you?
No. He's gone.
And by gone, you mean?
I am certain he is dead.
Thank you. Nothing further.
The SS took my husband, but your client took my son. What's the difference?
Are you all right, Peter?
No. Mrs. Fisher's testimony. It was bad, wasn't it?
It was always going to be. You can't not lend extra gravitas to the words of a woman who's lost both a husband and a son.
I just didn't think they'd cut so deep. She doesn't see any difference between me and those thugs in the SS.
There is a difference. You didn't enjoy killing those civilians, did you?
No. I felt awful after I'd done it.
And make sure you say that when you're on the stand.
Mr. Hodges, I still don't like the strategy you've worked up for my testimony. I'm worried it'll make me sound like, well, a war criminal.
We've been over this, Peter. We need to address your actions on our terms. That way, we can control the line of questioning. Besides, if I don't ask the difficult questions, the prosecution will. And then we'll have no control over anything.
It just sounds risky.
Every trial is a risk. We'll rehearse your testimony again tomorrow night after Mr. Zorro has given his.
That's another thing. I'm not comfortable about using him like this. He's a sick man.
Exactly. It'll be hard to discard the testimony of a cancer patient, no matter his past.
So you admit you're exploiting him?
Is it any different to what the prosecution did with Mrs. Fisher? Or Dr. Eichmann?
No, I guess not.
And Mr. Zorro is no fool. He's fully aware that we're using his condition to benefit our case. And don't forget, he approached us.
I still don't feel right about this.
That's good. It means you have a conscience. We'll make sure to highlight that too when you're on the stand the day after tomorrow. Please state your name for the record.
Nigel Zorro, former director of LMS Sodor operations.
Mr. Zorro, you worked with the defendant for a number of years, correct?
I was honored to do so.
Why is that?
I make no secret of the fact I was a rather shady character back during the days of the Big Four. I was so devoted to thwarting the competition, it led me to do some pretty stupid things, and I dragged some of my engines down with me. Peter was the only one who stood above this. He never stooped to my level. He is kind, hard-working, and dedicated.
So how do you feel about him being on trial here today? I'm shocked and appalled. It isn't right. Do you think Peter could have done the things he's been charged with? No, I don't. But even if he did, I can understand the impulse. You can? I fought in the First World War. I saw terrible things and more than a few atrocities. You can't go through that kind of hell and not be changed by it. Thank you. You're a witness. No questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Then we will recess until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Why didn't he ask Mr. Zorro any questions?
Because there'd be no point. Not when Mr. Zorro brought up his own shady past. It robbed him of the chance to impeach his testimony.
Oh, I see. Is that what'll happen when I give my testimony tomorrow?
It might. Be confident, but not overly so. Anything could happen.
Do you swear the testimony you shall give will be completely truthful?
I do.
You may proceed, Mr. Hodges.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Peter. Let's be upfront about something. Did you fire an artillery shell on the hospital at Eisenmar?
Yes, sir. I did.
Why?
Because I was angry.
Angry about what?
Everything. I was angry the Germans were using a hospital that way. I was angry they were using a place of healing to shoot up our allies. I was angry that after everything they'd done, they had the gall to use sick people as human shields.
Was that the only reason why you were angry?
No. I was angry because they'd killed two very dear friends of mine.
Who were they?
Their names were Colin and Lily. Colin died on Sodor during an air raid, and Lily died saving the life of another engine in my platoon. I saw this last one. All I could do was watch as she sacrificed herself.
Sounds like you wanted revenge.
I did, sir. I wanted to make the enemy suffer. Now I realize that's exactly what they would have done. Hell, it's what they did do.
You helped raid a concentration camp with your platoon, didn't you?
Yes, sir. We saw the bodies of men, women and children all hacked up and mutilated. Their only crime was not fitting the Nazis' perverted vision for humanity.
It could be argued, Peter, that you gave little regard to the welfare of the people inside that hospital. You knew there were civilians inside, but still fired. Why?
I really don't know. But the moment I fired, I wanted so badly to take it back. Dear God, what did I do?
Thank you. You're a witness.
So you admit you fired on the hospital and killed 19 civilians?
Yes, sir.
Peter, who is Adam?
Objection!
The defendant introduced his platoon, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Who is Adam?
He's a friend of mine.
And he served in your platoon, didn't he? After your unit was transferred to the rear guard, didn't he shove a coach of POWs into the sea, drowning all of them?
Yeah, he did.
So your platoon is no stranger to committing war crimes?
Objection!
Sustained. When Mr. Zorro gave his testimony, he admitted he had a negative influence on some of you engines. Did he ever instruct any of you to kill innocent human beings?
No, never.
You say you wanted revenge for the deaths of your friends, but you claim to not know why you shelled Eisenmar? Do you, or don't you know? Didn't you tell another engine less than an hour before, quote, there's something oddly satisfying about revenge?
Yes, I did.
And you weren't satisfied that your actions helped the Allies win the battle and take the town?
I was. A bit.
And were you satisfied knowing you'd helped avenge your fallen comrades?
Yes, I was.
In fact, it wouldn't have mattered how many civilians were in that hospital.
Objection!
Not when they'd likely help contribute to the German war effort.
Your Honor!
They were just faceless Nazis in your mind, unfit to live.
Your Honor, I object! You're right! That's all they were. Everyone keeps banging on about how they were innocent and sick. Who's to say they didn't help make bombs and bullets? The whole bloody country was so devoted to Hitler, they'd do whatever he say. And all Nazi soldiers started as Nazi civilians. Fuck Germany and every damn person who lives there.
Peter of the United Kingdom, this court understands you wish to change your plea to guilty. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. And you understand that by changing your plea, you waive any and all rights to a defense? I do. Then how do you plead? Guilty. What I did was wrong. The court finds your decision to be knowing and voluntary, and hereby finds you guilty of all charges. Does the defense have anything to say in mitigation of sentence? Sir, I ask that the court recognize Peter's acceptance of responsibility and admittance of wrongdoing. Does the prosecution have anything to say in aggravation of sentence? Only that the court should be reminded of the defendant's clear contempt for the German people. Thank you for your words, gentlemen. It is the court's ruling that the defendant, Peter of the United Kingdom, shall be sentenced to 15 years in Railgate Prison. We are adjourned. Hearing that verdict was a gut-wrenching experience. I can't even pretend to know how Peter must have felt. I wish I could say we were given the chance to bid farewell to the 8F before he was carted off, but we weren't. Peter was promptly taken to Railgate and shunted into its deepest siding, and there he stayed for the next 15 years. While I didn't much like the idea of a friend languishing in prison for that long, to this day, I honestly can't say the punishment was wrong. Can you?
How about you, Edward? What's your full name? Sorry, shouldn't I have asked? Lads? What's the matter? It's just a goods train. We were gawking at the train, Bob, but the engine pulling it. So you saw, yes. Was it really? Yes. Does that mean yes?
My God, as if this day wasn't surprising enough. Hi, lads. Peter! Blimey! When did you get out? A few days ago? How do you feel? Better than I have in years. It's amazing how much you take freedom for granted. This place has shortchanged a lot. No signal boxes, eh? That's going to take some getting used to. Is that to say this isn't a social visit? No, I've been reassigned here. They said the island will be getting a lot of fuel deliveries and I'm to help move them when that happens. I asked how and they told me about this new branch. That's what this lot is for. It's the first train I've pulled in 15 years. Looks like it's all in one piece. I guess you haven't lost your touch. That's good to know. I'm so happy to be home. It's great seeing you all again. And I think I speak for all of us when I say we're glad to have you back. No, Thomas, you do not speak for all of us. Oh, I see. I'll be on my way then. I'll talk to you later. What? Why did you have to say that? Why did you? How can either of you be so welcoming? Have you forgotten what he did? Nobody's paid for his crimes. We'll have to agree to disagree there. So if it was up to you, he'd still be in Railgate? For the murder of innocent civilians? Damn right. Who murdered innocent civilians? Peter. The war criminal? He's here? Literally, that was him. Really? Not what I expected. I thought he'd be more menacing. He just seems sad. Who wouldn't be after spending 15 years? Hang on. How come you don't recognise him? He would have been in Railgate at the same time as you. What can I say? I never saw him. How's that? Whoops. Damn it, Morty! Oh, hi Douglas. By all the saints. Hi Peter, long time no see. Yeah, real long time. How have you been? Fine, keeping busy. How about you? You must be happy to be out. You can't imagine, mate. It was nice sleeping out under the stars. Under the stars? Did you spend last night outside? Yeah, I was at Alsborough. I just wanted to be alone. Understandable. How was it? Wonderful. The peace, the privacy. I might keep doing it. I know not everyone's happy I'm back. Gordon? How'd you know? I figured he wouldn't be. He never forgave Adam after all. How's he doing these days? Oh, bollocks. Do I really have to be the one to tell him? Tell me what? Did something happen? Hey, he passed away a few years ago. He came down with mental fatigue and chose the final firing. Oh, that's horrible. He was such a good bloke. I was really looking forward to seeing him. I guess that's it for the Wellsworth and Sudbury. No, actually. A lost member of its crew came home yesterday. Lost member? You don't mean Brian? I do. He's at the rear of my train. He's a top bloke. You ought to say hi. I will. Thanks. Oh, and Peter, welcome home. Thanks, Dougie. Great to be home. Hello there, I'm Peter. Are you Brian?
Yes. This is great. The others used to talk about you all the time. Nice to finally put a face to the, are you alright? What do you keep staring at? Oh, you know what I did then. Well, yes. Edward and the others told me last night. No wonder you're so spooked. I'll get a move on then. No, it's not that. It's not entirely that. Do you have a twin brother by any chance? No. Why? Last year I was working around the Midlands and I met an engine who looked and sounded exactly like you. He called himself Alan.
Really? There's another non-faceless 8F out there. They said I was the only one. If I do have a twin, I've never met him, but I can tell you that wasn't me last year. I would have been in Railgate.
Aye, 15 years. I didn't think an engine could get such a long sentence.
Not under British law, but I was convicted under international criminal law. Different jurisdictions, different punishments, and I deserve worse than I got.
So you feel bad about it? That's good. It means you're not a monster.
I don't think the families of my victims would agree. Some of my colleagues sure as hell don't. Gordon, if you're going to hate me, can you do it without being obvious? What would be the point if you already know? And I get why. I don't need to be reminded of it. Is that to say you forget about what you did? No, I never have. I've thought about it every second of every day, and I've regretted it. Good, because you're a monster, just like Adam.
All right, Gordon, that's enough.
Mickey?
Hello, Peter. How are you?
Not too good at the moment.
So it seems. I'm glad I found you both together. I heard about what happened yesterday, and given what I've seen just now, I don't want this to escalate.
What are you saying?
I'm asking that you both come by the works later today.
What for?
Therapy. Whew. If anyone needs therapy, it's him. No, you both need it. This level of resentment is dangerous. We've seen what happens when it's allowed to fester. Do you really think this time will be any different?
This time is different, Mickey. None of the previous rivals were war criminals.
Granted, but you have issues that need to be resolved. I'm asking you to attend therapy for your own good. So how about it, lads? Are you willing to try?
All right, I'll come.
Gordon? Oh, fine. Great. I'll see you at 5 o'clock. You won't regret this.
Famous last words.
Thank you both for coming. This is a good sign. You clearly want to resolve this.
Actually, I just want tips on how to tolerate this monster. I'm not a monster, Gordon.
All right, calm down. We're not here to point fingers or blame anyone.
Even if the blame is justified, he destroyed a hospital, Chief. I didn't drop a shell on it for fun. The Nazis had taken it over and I wanted to drive them out, regardless of the cost.
How about it, Peter? Did you think about civilian casualties?
Yes, I also thought about Allied casualties. If I didn't clear them out, they could have done some real damage.
Did it help?
The enemy gave up, we took over the town and were able to advance. What I did might have helped the war effort, but I don't know if it was worth the cost.
I can tell you it wasn't. It never is.
Hang on, you said the exact same thing after...
Don't you dare!
Bellarmine! That's it! You feel guilty about that!
Of course I do, but that was an accident. Your actions were deliberate. Steady, lads. Let's wind this back a bit. What's Bellarmine? I don't want to talk about it. Gordon, please. Maybe it'll help.
It was one of the smaller battles we fought in Africa. I was up front armed with a cannon. I saw movement and fired upon what I thought was enemy armour. The wreckage blocked a passage the Nazis attempted to use to flank our forces. This disrupted their strategy and ended in a rout. We won.
You said you thought it was enemy armour?
I was wrong. It was American. The tank was utterly destroyed and its entire crew killed. The incident was ruled friendly fire and I was cleared of any wrongdoing. Even so, I felt guilty about what happened. I still do.
Do you think maybe you're projecting that guilt onto Peter?
I don't know.
Then how about we explore that further?
What did you do?
My driver pushed it aside. We tried to call the police at Callan, but got no answer.
They were probably at Knapford. Those bloody hoodlums smashed up some of the coaches and tagged my tender.
What'd they write?
Something that reminded me I'm a war criminal. When the coppers had a look, I heard one of them say, "Sounds about right."
That's pretty poor form.
But understandable. You can't have much sympathy for a crook, and I don't deserve it anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to whine. Is my train ready?
Yes, that's it on track 2.
All right, thanks.
What happened, Peter? Nothing, sir. I was just a little short on steam. That's the third time this month. I'm sorry, sir. I've just been feeling run down lately. I don't know why. I think the problem might be your workload. Since your return, most of the trains you've pulled have been fuel deliveries. I know that's why you were brought back, but constantly hauling such heavy trains over a distance might be starting to take its toll. Maybe, sir. If that's the case, what can we do? Well, I can assign some of your colleagues to handle the fuel trains for a while and put you on lighter duties. And I know just the thing. I was reviewing your record and discovered something interesting. You're the only engine on Sodor that's never pulled coaches.
Christ almighty, Peter! Are you alright? Yeah, I almost got blown up out there, but otherwise...
You cannot be serious! I beg your pardon, Francis. I apologize for being so blunt, Sir Topham, but do you really think it's appropriate to assign someone with his background to passenger duties? If you had asked me that a year ago, I would have said no, but it's apparently what the people want. It is, sir? Yes, you're quite the popular attraction among rail enthusiasts. I've had many inquiries asking if you can run an excursion or two. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I will charter a special train for you to pull. What will it be called, sir? The War Crimes Express? Change of plans. Francis shall handle the fuel trains exclusively for the next week, and if you open your mouth again, I'll double it. So, Peter, are you interested? Yes, sir, I am. Thank you. How are you feeling, Peter? Better than him? Don't act so smug, Peter. All this proves is people are willing to turn a blind eye when it suits them, which is nothing short of disgraceful, disgusting, and Don't you dare! Oh, fine. No need to be so proprietary, and no need to be such a pillock about all this. I know what I did, Francis. I'm not proud of it, and I did my time. Why are you taking this so personally? Because I met one of your victims. What? When? You better not be having me on. I'm not. When I was at Barrow the other day, I was approached by a gentleman from Germany. He wanted to know if you were the same Peter that fought in the war. I told him yes. He then said when he was a boy, his family took refuge in the hospital you destroyed. Did he mention his name? Luther von Huss. Oh, Jesus. You know who that is? Yeah, while I was at Railgate, I made sure to memorize the names of the people I killed or injured. I remember Karl, Frieda, and Olga von Huss. Karl was one of the soldiers who occupied the hospital. As for Luther, he was 9 years old at the time. He was pulled out of the rubble with a broken leg. That explains his limp. Did he say what he was going to do? No, but I suspect he wants to confront Peter. So you best prepare yourself for an unpleasant conversation. Don't worry, I've had plenty of experience from talking to you. Caw, the sheer audacity of that brute, pot calling the kettle spam can. Very droll, Gordon.
Is that a... Oi, who's back there? Hey, what's going on? I guess they're trying to help, so kick your motor into gear. Right. Tosser. Anyway, I'm on fire! What? There's smoke coming from one of your tankers! How in blazes did that happen? We'll worry about that later. For now, let's stay calm. I'll call for... Oh dear. Now can we panic? No. Uncouple from your train and pull away now. No, we should get this lot out of here. Are you mad? Why would we do that? Because we've seen what one exploding tiger can do. Imagine if all of these go up. My God, you're right. The whole town could be leveled. But where can we take... Wait, the tunnel! We can stash this train inside the tunnel. Brilliant idea, but I'll handle it. Move aside, Francis. With all due respect, Chief, no. This train needs to leave now. Walter, you should... No chance, Francis. Where you go, I go. Well then, tally-ho! It's all right, Francis. They're not on fire. Good. Who knew being a really useful engine made one so anxious? I almost wish the banker would show up and give me a shove. So do I. I'd like to thank him. Indeed. Banker, if you happen to hear this, thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Peter? Hello, Francis. Walter? Am I seeing things? You and me both. Is it really you? It's really me, Francis, and I'm really dead. I popped it the moment those bullets hit me. And you've been banking trains ever since? Why? I don't know. I have no control over it. I just appear and disappear whenever. What about the memory thing? Are you doing that? No. I have no idea why any of this is happening. The best reason I can come up with is I'm being punished for what I did. It's so tiring, but I guess it's what I deserve. I am a monster after all. No, you're not. What? You're not a monster, Peter. You don't deserve this. You also didn't deserve my scorn. I'm sorry for that. I had no right to pass judgment on you, and to whatever force is passing judgment, I dare say he suffered enough. Yes, he did a terrible thing, but it was during a time of war, and he paid for it. But is it enough? After yesterday, it certainly is. You saved an entire town from destruction, Peter. That makes you a hero. You think so? I do. Well done. Wow, thank you. Blimey, I don't remember the last time I actually smiled. Huh? What's wrong? I see something. It's faint. Is that a light? What's happening? I think you're finally going where you belong. Oh my God. It's beautiful. I'm sure it is. Give my regards to Reginald and all the rest when you see them. Tell them it was a pleasure knowing them. I will. I would ask you to do the same for me with the others, but you might not remember this. I guess we'll see what happens. Goodbye, Peter. Goodbye, Francis.